Welcome back to the shop. This is going to be a short video on my nitrogen setup for filling your shocks up after you service them. This was a suggestion from Barkeep25, and so here we go. Well, first it's just a tank from a welding supply. I just went to, actually the father-in-law went to welding supply for me, picked up a welding tank full of nitrogen, and then I went on eBay and purchased this right here. It's called a nitrogen regulator shock fill kit. So you can just search for that on eBay and you should find it. Now the current kit now comes with what they call a no loss chuck right here. So basically when you disconnect off the Schrader valve or whatever type of valve you're using, you won't lose any pressure. You can just unscrew it right there. But when I was buying this kit some years back, it only came with this, but that's okay. I've been good with that because if you watch any of my shock servicing videos, you'll see that I use one of these right here. These are the air pumps for your air shocks on your dirt bikes. This is a Tusk one right here, but they're far more accurate in my opinion than trying to rely on that right there. Actually, to be quite honest with you, this is not accurate at all in this. It was fairly accurate when it was brand new. 155 pounds would leave me with about maybe 140 in the shock, so I had to bump it up a little bit. But throughout the years, I mean, look at this. Throughout the years, it's just kind of shifted off, and I don't want to rely on that. I actually like relying on a good digital gauge. So what I do is I crank them up. I crank it up a little bit over 200 right there, and with that, I get about 175 in a shock. Get the shock to 175, then I hook this up right here, which has a no loss fitting on it. And I just let the air pressure out through the button right here until I get it to where I want it, which is typically about 150 psi, and then I disconnect that, and there you go. I have the shock filled with nitrogen perfectly at 150 psi. Now if you buy this kit, just a quick rundown of how to use it. Obviously your tank will come with this valve on it and it'll be shut off, so you need to bolt the regulator on nice and firm right here, and then you'll turn the tank open. And this gauge right here will tell you how much pressure is in the tank, which you can see I've had this tank for about 7 years now. It started at about 3,000 or 4,000 psi. It's worked its way down to about 1,100, 1,200, but still got pressure in it. And then this right here is the regulator. So let me let some pressure out of here. There we go. You'll see it reads about the, and I can just turn it up to what I want it to, and this is showing you what is going down the line to the chuck. Obviously you need a regulator, because if you just went right off this and you try to put 4,000 psi in your shock, well, you know that's going to be pretty nasty. So the regulator is real good at regulating it down to a safe pressure to put in the shock. And again, I don't suggest going by this because, yeah, you can see these little needles. I personally like to get a good accurate reading off one of these, get it down to the pressure I'm looking for, which is about 150 psi, and that does the trick. Now I don't remember what we paid for this tank. It's a used tank. Yeah, that's how they do it. When you go to get another one, they just swap it out. But I'm gonna say it was about $75. Can't quite remember, but it was about $75. One of these Tusk air shock pumps right here with the digital screen, they're about $50 nowadays, I think, maybe 60, somewhere in that range. And then the nitrogen regulator shock fill kit is currently at $165. So you're looking at right around $300 total to have a setup at your house where you can fill up your shocks with nitrogen and all your friends' shocks with nitrogen. About 300 bucks. For me, it was worth it because I do this for a living. And so it was nice to be able to fill up shocks that I service right here in the shop. For you guys at home that maybe just need it for your own bike, well, you know, a typical motorcycle shop's going to charge you, in my experience, anywhere from about 20 bucks to 75 bucks to fill your shock up with nitrogen. That adds up after a while. If you just buy this for 300 bucks, it's a big cost right up front, but down the road it'll pay for itself, and I'm telling you, this tank will last forever. One fill will probably be all you ever need. I have filled up countless shocks on this thing, and I still have quite well over a little bit over 1,000 psi there. You can always fill up your friend's shocks, maybe charge them $10 each or whatever to help pay you back for this, and I'm pretty sure that no one's going to mind paying $10 to fill their shock up with nitrogen. That's a great price, and after a while it'll kind of just pay for itself. It's worth having around. Hey, look how dirty she gets from running underneath these bikes. She makes the best eggs though. So these will come with a Schrader connection right here, and now they have a no loss chuck for it. If you have one of the newer YZ 4-strokes or Kawasaki's, a lot of your bikes nowadays take a needle. You can buy these needles on eBay. Just write nitrogen shock needle, and it'll have a Schrader valve right there that you can just, you slide the needle into the shock, connect that to that, fill it up to the pressure you need. If you have a KTM, they take a special tool, or Husky or Gas or whatever. They take a special tool. It's like $300 to get nitrogen in the shock, but you can buy, go to Rocky Mountain or eBay, just write dirt bike shock nitrogen, whatever, I don't know, but they sell these. Race Tech sells these, okay? And what it does is you pull off the little Allen on the bottom of the reservoir tank on your KTMs. You pull it off and you put this on in its place, and what it has is a little hole right in the center. Don't know if you can see it. There it is, a little hole right in the center, and it's rubber. It's all filled with rubber going all the way through this thing. All you see right there, and that allows you to buy one of these too, and that allows you to slide that in the shock, slide it in the shock, fill up your KTM with nitrogen pressure, so you don't have to buy the $300 kit. And these rubber things, just like on the Yamahas and the Kawasaki's and the Hondas, you can reuse them about 1,000,000 times. It pretty much seems like that you can stick a needle in and out of there 1,000,000 times, and it just keeps sealing and sealing and sealing. So you only have to buy this once for your KTM, and you'll be good to go. Let me see if I can actually find you one. Here we go. I found this on eBay, but as you know, Rocky Mountain sells this, and a lot of other people sell it. But Race Tech is a manufacturer of it. There's what it's called right there. And of course, if you read the description on it, they do explain how it replaces the cumbersome and expensive KTM filling system. So there's that for that. And then these are the needles that I buy right here, because you get 2 of them for $14.49. Race Tech sells their own kit too, but the Race Tech ones kept kind of losing their seal right around this area on me and just giving me problems. And they cost more actually. This kit is cheaper, and I have much better luck with it. It seals, it works better, comes with 2 needles. Each needle, you can use it, in my experience, about twice. Don't use them any more than twice, because if you try to use it on like the 3rd or 4th time, it'll end up, especially on like the Yamahas and Kawasaki's, not so much on this. This seems to be more robust, but on the bikes that come with the rubber factory, if you reuse a needle too many times, it can become too hard to push through the rubber, and can actually push the rubber into the bladder area, and that'll cause you a whole lot of problems, because then you have to pull the bladder apart and reinsert that rubber and hope that it seals again. So only use the needle once, maybe twice tops, throw it in the trash, and start with a new needle. But you can just go on eBay and look for that, and that's where you get the needles right there. And lastly, if you feel like filling your bike up with nitrogen somewhere in the middle of a service, you just think, well, maybe my nitrogen's low, but I don't feel like servicing my shock. Make sure you do it when your bike's on the stand with the rear end fully extended. Do not do it while the wheels are on the ground when there's some compression on the rear end, or you will get an improper filling. But that's pretty much a wrap on my nitrogen setup. Hope it was informative. As I've already told you in my last video, I'll be taking my 2018 YZ 250 2-stroke out to Croom on Saturday. I'm going to have an easy day of just trail riding out there, because again, I had a pretty bad crash on Saturday. So I'm going to go out there and take it easy and just enjoy the trails, follow my wife around, maybe some of her girlfriends. It's going to be a good day. I hope all you guys have a great weekend of riding wherever you're at. Appreciate you watching these videos, and I'll catch you in the next one.